哦哦哦哦哦！
发生什么事了？
我没事儿。
You must have felt it too, right? Everyone who was augmented has been getting strange symptoms.
I can't speak to you right now. Something is wrong.
Jensen? It's Pritchard. Have you been watching the news?
Been a bit busy, Francis.
Jensen, the World Health Organization is advising all augmented patients to check in with Lim. There's a problem with biochip technology.
The glitches I've been experiencing.
We've all had them. So far, I can't determine why.
You heading to a clinic?
I'm running a few more tests. But since I can't exactly run them on you, and we don't know when you'll be back, you might not want to wait. Up to you.
Have you heard about the recall issue by the World Health Organization? Anyone with augmentation is asked to report to a limb clinic. 滚开，窝囊废！
No time, pal. Take a hike.
A device which transmits neural impulses directly to inorganic tissue. She is urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to
我们要
have the
答案。
biochips replaced.
你也感觉到了，
Inside
西门
sources
他
tell
们
me
这
that
也称为故障，
augmentation
把我吓死
Taiwan Young Medical is scrambling to
I paid
produce
good
enough
money
new
for
and
these
improved
augments,
biochips
and now
to
I
meet
find
the
myself
expected
standing in a
demand.
line outside a clinic in a foreign
This
country.
widespread defect,
This is
coming so
bullshit.
soon after the recent riots, only raises more questions about the
Yes,
problem of
I
healing.
demand surgery.
Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza Kassan, reporting to you live from Paris. Returning to tonight's biggest story. The World Health Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbances have been flooding in from around the globe. Elizabeth Duclair, spokeswoman for the WHO, confirmed that the cause of these disruptions has been linked to a major
出了什么问题了吗？
multi-channel
Mr. Jensen, right? I am not mistaken. You are Mr. Jensen, right?
That depends. Who's asking?
I am sorry, Mr. Jensen. I am being impolite. My name is Wing Hui. I am a doctor here.
I can see that. What I really meant to ask is, how do you know who I am?
Yes, of course. Excuse me, for I am a bit nervous. Belltower agents were here a while ago, looking for a man who fits your description. When I heard what they were saying of you, it occurred to me that you might be exactly the person I need.
Need for what, exactly? Tread carefully, Doc, because I'm about one step away from losing my patience here.
No, please, you misunderstand. I only wish to talk to you about something, and it is not an easy subject to discuss, as it is a rather sensitive matter. Truly, Mr. Jensen, I would never force anyone to do something against their will. On that, you have my word.
Glad to hear it. So what's this all about then?
I'm afraid I won't be able to go into very much details. Not before I know you are really willing to help. But I need someone to help me to stop a very dangerous augmented soldier, and possibly his squad mates. If everything Belltower said of you is true, then you would seem the good fit for this job.
Fine, I'll do it. Just tell me more.
Thank you. Now please, understand that I am to give you sensitive information on multiple parties.
You'd be surprised by the amount of sensitive information that gets tossed my way on a daily basis. I haven't misused any of it. Yet.
Yet? Mr. Jensen, please. Do not make light of this matter. Belltower is, well, you know their role in this city. But what you do not know is that they often contract limb specialists to operate in private, on special projects.
What kind of special projects?
What you Americans call black operations. Belltower selects some of their best soldiers and make them to be super augmented with experimental, top-secret hardware.
Not to sound too jaded, Doc, but none of that comes as a big surprise. Stuff like that's been going on for years.
Yes. Your government and mine have both been guilty of this practice, I am sure. But Belltower is not a government. They are a private corporation. A private army on sale to the highest bidder.
Is this about stopping Belltower then? Because as much as I might hate them right now, I'm only one man.
No. It is not all of Belltower I need help with. It is just one of their covert operatives, a man named Michael Zelazny. He was implanted with experimental hardware, and to an extent that is way beyond legal regulations. I am ashamed to say I have operated on him myself, and he has been used in countless secret operations for the Chinese and others.
Sounds like the type of man you don't want to see going out of control.
Precisely. Yet, about a month ago, I have heard rumors that Mr. Zelazny and part of his unit had gone rogue. And 2 weeks later, a city official was killed in a perfectly staged operation. I am certain it was them. And then, a few days ago, Mr. Zelazny contacted me himself. He needed urgent help with one of his squad mates' augmentations.
I take it you said you would help.
They sent me to the back store of a meat shop near Pandang Road, in the Yutzao district. There, I performed emergency repairs on one of the agent's AUGs, a servo replacement. I believe this back store is their hideout, Mr. Jensen. You must go there and make Mr. Zelazny hear reason.
I'll do what I can.
I am sure you are up to the task. Mr. Zelazny is a soldier, not a maniac. Your unique situation will no doubt resonate with him. And if things do turn sour and he must be terminated, I think you are quite a good candidate to get it done. Or at least survive.
You here for recall? There is problem with the peripheral nerve interface. We fixed with upgraded chip. You want it, yes?
I'll think about it.
Clinic is very busy, but if you want something else, we will service you. You come back if you change your mind.
希望当时还有人有足够的力气去抬你。
Let us in! Returning to tonight's biggest story, the World Health Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbances have been flooding in from around the globe. Elizabeth Duclair, spokeswoman for the WHO confirms that the cause of these disruptions has been linked to a major malfunction in the multi-channel peripheral nerve biochip, a device which transmits neural impulses directly to inorganic tissue. She is urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chips replaced. Inside sources tell me that augmentation
demand
giant
surgery.
Atonement is scrambling to
怎么花这么长
时间 to meet the expected
什么
demand.
耽误了？
This
我不
widespread
想
defect,
死。
coming so soon after the recent riots, only
What's
raises
going
more
on?
questions about the
我
problem.
要求进去。
Is this
出了
the
什么
beginning
问
of
题了
a
吗？
complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza Cassan, reporting to you live from Paris. Returning to tonight's biggest story, the World Health Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbances have been flooding in from around the globe. Elizabeth Duclair, spokeswoman for the WHO, confirmed that the
没错，
cause of these
我要求
disruptions
做手
has
术
been。linked to a major malfunction in the multi-channel peripheral nerve biochip, a device which transmits neural impulses directly to inorganic tissue. She's urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chips replaced. Inside sources tell me that augmentation giant Taiyang Medical is scrambling to produce enough new and improved biochips to meet the expected
都笑
demand.
你。
So I imagine VersaLife's got to have an opinion on things. Think they'll give up all that money they get on neuropozyne sales? Nuh-uh.
They can't have that much influence, not if the whole UN decides to have it strictly.
Biotech companies have got to be scrambling. PYM, IxDEUS.
'Mr. Jensen, Hugh Darrow here. Please forgive this intrusion, but David assured me of your cooperation and discretion. I find myself in need of some assistance.
I'm listening.
A contact of mine, Meng Yao, is in Hengsha, waiting to fill you in. I'll upload her coordinates now.
"世界卫生组织发布了召回公告，你去limb诊所了吗？
你不是当地人吧？是吗？ 刚刚在这里洞里找到了我的票，潘家正在招人。
You're kidding. You want to move to the Arctic?
不是啦，但他们会免费给我安装新装备。
Don't buy him that crap, man. If you get this way.
工作一切都顺利。虽然他们都有些事情很不对劲。
你为什么这么说？
这出现在知青岗位上的警员都不见了吗？而且这一下午，我一个收割者都没见到。
我听到留言说童的儿子失踪了，顾至钟楼和30岁。
我
这儿怎么了？
枪声，枪的声音。再见，混！
people had lost an arm in a work accident like Daniel, they wouldn't be so quick to criticize.
I know. But if they haven't lived it, it's easy for people to judge you and say, oh, you only want an augmented arm to get an advantage in life.
Well, they should understand some people need arms to live a normal life. Chan would probably be on the street jobless without his cyber arm.
I just hope Lim won't have a problem fixing that glitch.
Inside sources tell me that augmentation giant Taeyong Medical is scrambling to produce enough new and improved biochips to meet the expected demand. This widespread defect, coming so soon after the recent riots, only raises more questions about the problem of human enhancement. Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza Kassan reporting to you live from Picus. Returning to tonight's biggest story, the World Health Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbances have been flooding in from around the globe. Elizabeth Duclair, spokeswoman for the WHO, confirmed that the cause of these disruptions has been linked to a major malfunction in the multi-channel peripheral nerve biochip, a device which transmits neural impulses directly to inorganic tissue. She is urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chips replaced. Inside sources tell me that augmentation giant Taeyong Medical is scrambling to produce enough new and improved biochips to meet the expected demand. This widespread defect, coming so soon after the recent riots, only raises more questions about the problem of human enhancement. Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system? This is Eliza Kassan, reporting to you live. Returning to tonight's biggest story, the World Health Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology.
You want best in the city? You come to right place. Look on computer and see for yourself. You make me poor. Deal with you no fun.
Understand the reality of living in a slave state. You can bet they'll keep trying to shut us down, but I won't stop, followers. I will not stop until there is a full-scale revolt in progress.
你也感觉到了吗？哎，这感觉算是个小毛病，可是他们怎么花了那么长的时间才找出这个毛病啊？
They send you?
If you're talking about your former buddies at Belltower, the answer is no.
Wait a minute. You're Jensen, right? I heard that some of my former buddies have been looking for you.
Could be. What's it to you?
When a stranger sojourns with you in your land, you shall not do him wrong.
You've dropped the merc gig to become a man of the cloth?
Hardly. I just have an interest in theology. And I love quoting the book. Everything in it is so evocative. Now, tell me, are you here to stop me?
Not exactly. I'm here on behalf of someone who wants you to understand reason.
Let me guess. Dr. Wing, right? He's a good man. And I know he's only trying to do what he thinks is right. But he doesn't quite grasp the whole picture here.
Then why don't you enlighten me? Start by explaining why you went rogue.
When an average man decides he no longer shares his employer's views and opts to leave, we say he's handing in his resignation. When men like us do the same, it's called going rogue. You can't quit a job like ours, Jensen. You know that.
Yeah, okay, I can relate. But you still haven't answered my question. And what do you mean when you say you no longer share your employer's view?
Back in the US, when I first got into the Army, I did it because I wanted to serve my country. I believed in its values. I believed in its government. Back then, I believed that by serving my government, I was serving the people it was supposed to protect.
Nice sentiment. But you don't work for the US anymore, you work for Belltower.
Times change, Jensen. You know the story. Capitalism's final encroachment on one of the most lucrative industries in the history of mankind. War got privatized. The US military offloaded its special operations to PMCs like Blue Water Global and Belltower. I believed that as long as they were working for the government, they were serving the same cause. So when they offered me the chance to work on major operations at twice the pay grade, I made my jump.
Why don't we just skip to when things went sour?
Belltower outfitted us with top-notch augmentations. The kind of stuff civilians never hear about. Gave us a massive edge over the enemy. Later, seeing as my unit was one of the most successful ones, they selected us for a special program. Top secret, experimental tech. Told us we would get to work on critical black ops for the US government. But there was a price to pay.
Go on.
We had to be implanted with a neural hub that manipulates memory centers in the brain. Basically controlling what you can and cannot remember.
And you agreed to this?
Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. The augmentation was supposed to keep us safe, make sure we'd never remember details if we fell behind enemy lines. That was the main function. The second one, the one they didn't tell us about, was to lower our inhibitions. Make us more receptive to orders we'd likely disobey. Belltower turned us into the perfect mercs.
If you were so perfect, and the hub made you so perfect, how did it fail? How come they didn't outfit the whole agency?
I told you the tech was experimental. After a couple of ops, I started experiencing memory shifts, remembering bits and fragments of past operations. Slowly, I realized some of these operations couldn't logically have been orchestrated by the government. I was asked to do highly questionable things, even by professional standards.
Aren't we all?
Not like this, Jensen. Our services have been sold to corrupt officials in the American and Chinese governments. A combination of lies and use of the neural aug made sure we complied. We were working for a shadow government. Individuals corrupted by a quest for personal power.
So how'd you get out of it?
I confronted the project director. He quoted Apocalypse Now. You have to have men who are moral, and at the same time who are able to utilize their primordial instincts to kill without feeling. I forced him to disconnect the hub, for me and my squad mates here. And then I killed him. I went through his files and contacts. I know who these corrupt men are now. They've turned us into killing machines, and now they'll get to experience their experiment firsthand.
Listen, I have no doubt these men deserve to die. But you can't simply pass judgment on people. Nothing gives you that right. You have to turn yourself in. Play this by the book.
I'm afraid that's impossible. These men I killed, and these men I'm going to kill, they have names, families. Their deaths shouldn't be erased from my memory by some electronic software. They should haunt me, until I finally meet our Lord and pay for my sins. But the men behind this, they deserve to die. And I think there's poetry in the fact that they engineered their own demise.
I think you're wrong. But I don't think it's my place to try to stop you either. Do what you have to do.
I appreciate that, Jensen. I didn't want you to die for a cause that isn't yours. Hey, Jensen. Zelazny here.
Zelazny? How'd you get this frequency?
You're no stranger to top-secret augmentations, Jensen. You figure it out. In the meantime, just want to let you know I've contacted some of my old pals at Belltower. Got them to reassign a couple of local patrols. You should have a few less problems to deal with for a while.
Thanks.
Don't mention it.
良宵，只要一晚，所有烦恼都会烟消云散。
This widespread defect, coming so soon after the recent riots, only raises more questions about the problem of human enhancement. Is this the beginning of a complete technological breakdown, or just another glitch in the system?
You shouldn't be here. Get moving. Get out here.
Returning to tonight's biggest story, the World Health Organization today issued an unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions.
Last warning. Leave or I shoot.
Flooding in from around
什么耽误了？
Returning to tonight's biggest story, the World Health Organization today
我不
issued
想
an
死。
unprecedented recall on augmentation technology. For days, reports of temporary malfunctions and electrostatic disturbances have
出
been
了什么
flooding
问题
in
了
from
吗？
around the globe.
怎么花这么长时间？
spokeswoman for the WHO, confirmed
我要
that the
求
cause
进
of
去。
these disruptions has been linked to
What's
a major
going on?
malfunction in the multi-channel peripheral nerve biochip, a device which transmits
Access
neural impulses
granted.
directly to
没
inorganic
错，
tissue.
我要求做
She's
手
urging
术
people。
让我们
to visit
进
their
去。
local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chips replaced. Inside sources tell me that augmentation giant Taiyang Medical is scrambling to produce enough new and improved biochips to meet the expected demand. This widespread defect,
哎，
becoming
怎
so
么
soon
回
to
事
be
嘛？为什么
displaced,
我们还在这里没
only
有动？
raises more
So? You have found Zelazny? I cannot stress enough the importance of this task, Mr. Jensen.
I found him.
Really, Mr. Jensen? You have been able to make him understand reason? Will he turn himself in?
They were already gone when I got there. I looked around a bit, but I couldn't find them.
This is most unfortunate, Mr. Jensen. I'm afraid they will cause further chaos and dissension. I hope they are stopped before this happens. Here is a praxis kit. It's all I have.
You here for recall? There is problem with the peripheral nerve interface. We fixed with upgraded chip. You want it, yes?
I'll think about it.
Clinic is very busy, but if you want something else, we will service you. You're very welcome, sir.
“哎，怎么回事嘛？为什么我们还在这里没有动啊？天啊，那么多人！”
Returning to tonight's biggest
医生只有那么多，
The
你
World
觉得
Health
他们同时能给
Organization
几个人
today
做手
issued
术
an
呢？
unprecedented
有点耐
recall
心
on augmentation
我们一定能
technology.
进去的。
哼，你说的倒轻松了。如果我的生物片完全停止工作了，那要怎么办？啊？到时候我就变成一个蔬菜了。
那不可能发生的。即使发生了，我老婆总说我有一心里面的，我才不相信。这次我知道，肯定是有什么地方出问题。希望当时他们有足够的力气，我知道我没疯。
A device which transmits neural impulses directly to inorganic tissue. She is urging people to visit their local limb clinics immediately to have the faulty chip